Welcome to this week's market update from Aquus Property Group. The property markets are finally showing some signs of slowing down, and the newspapers have already jumped on the bandwagon, suggesting that the property markets have gone into hibernation for the winter. It has only been a week. It's probably a little bit premature to be making those calls, but we'll see how things go. Let's take a look at the statistics. Results of the figures over the past week are pretty negligible. Melbourne being the standout at 0.6% over the past week, coupled with their 1% the previous week. That market is showing very solid signs, whereas the rest of the markets have been very quiet. Sydney, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide sitting anywhere between negative 0.1% and 0.3%. And here's this week's property news across the nation. In Sydney, a beautiful old sandstone church has been suggested to be turned into parking on Oxford Street in Paddington to save the old shopping precinct. In Melbourne, a penthouse apartment in the famous Eureka Tower had its pool overflow, and the owners are being sued $75,000. Considering the property is on the market for $20 million, I wouldn't think that the $75,000 would make too much of a dent. In Brisbane, a great article was published as it was marking 20 years of urban renewal for the city. This is definitely a city to watch, with the Brisbane City Plan being published this year showing very good signs for Queensland's capital. In Perth, a Sydney property group has just acquired two large sites for a combined total of $11.38 million, showing promising signs for Perth. And in Adelaide, the Valuer General has highlighted that Adelaide's prices are on the rise. Very good signs for Adelaide. There was an article this week that prompted me to issue a buyer beware to property investors. You see, a property developer's just been done for fraud in Melbourne, for embezzling over $1 million out of property investors. My issue with this is that most of the investors were self-managed super funds. He's managed to embezzle out of people's retirement funds in the twilight of their lives when they don't have the opportunity to recoup those funds over time. All I ask is that as a property investor, you take your time. You work with a reputable investment advisor, you do your numbers, and you work in basic investment fundamentals. And above all else, if something feels too good to be true, then it probably is. Our property of the week is a gem, offering both capital growth prospects and a wonderful yield. This home is a dual occupancy property located in Walkaracka, a great up and coming area in southwest Brisbane. You see, you've got a 3-bed, 2-bath home side by side with a 2-bed, 1-bath home on a large 650 square metre lot. Purchase price is $492,000 for this completed property, with expected rent over the two at $620 a week. That reflects a yield of 6.5%, and this area's got great capital growth prospects. Next week we come to you from Queensland, as I'm up on the Gold Coast presenting at the SMSF Summit. For more information on that event, go to smsfsummit.com.au, or in the meantime, have a wonderful week. I'm Sonntag from Aquus Property Group.